Are you really?
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to take a drink of water. I have one.
Okay. It's like you're gonna wait. You're gonna wait till we're live to. I'm gonna go get a drink of water.
I'm gonna go get it. You know what?
Forget this.
I got to run to the store real quick.
Forget about it. Forget about you guys.
Yeah. Stretch it out a little bit here. I'm gonna.
I don't think we can.
Pick up.
We'll stretch it out, all right.
Yikes!
He does not understand.
Explain it as you would a child.
There you go.
Yeah. Hello and welcome to episode 779 of the Player One podcast for Tuesday, October 12th, 2021. I'm your host, Chris Johnston, and with me as always from Canada, celebrating Thanksgiving. Well, he celebrated earlier, I guess, Mr. Greg Seward.
Even though Thanksgiving's tomorrow. Or yesterday, depending on when you're listening to this.
You said you had a Thanksgiving meal before.
Yeah, well, we did. We celebrated Thanksgiving today because hockey season starts tomorrow.
The real holiday.
No, not so much that. Is that I didn't want to have to schedule the dinner around my son's hockey schedule. So,
oh man,
yeah. Listen, I want to commend you guys on last week's episode.
Yeah,
I listened to it.
I understand you just finished pooping about an hour ago.
It was, yeah. No, I didn't actually, but it was. I'm saying this in all honesty. It was probably the most educational episode of Player One podcast in its 777 episode history.
Good.
I learned something very important.
What's that?
I need new friends.
What are you talking about? You
guys are the worst. The absolute worst.
Come on.
The worst.
What's wrong with what we said last week? Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
I'd just like to point out that CJ was the one who first started.
Yeah,
I was content to just like, Greg's not here. Greg's not here this
Phil
week.
Phil kept going with it, of course.
CJ's like, you mean Poopy McGee? He's out hanging out at the stomach churn this week. I get it.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're back, though.
Yeah, welcome back.
Glad to be back.
Yeah.
And joining me from the great state of Washington, Mr. Phil Theobald.
As well. Hey, it's me, Phil. How's it going?
Good.
Cool, man. Good conversation. How are you, Greg?
Full of turkey.
From the aforementioned Thanksgiving meal.
Sitting here realizing I forgot to pay my water bill last month. That's
crap. See, that's why your toilet wasn't flushing last week.
You have to call up the water company.
Here, I thought it was me.
That can be two things.
Yeah.
Well, you better pay that. You don't want your water cut off.
You don't want that. That's not good.
No.
All right. We should just jump right into it, I think. We've got a lot of ground to cover. We're jumping into it.
Okay.
The it being some news here. So a couple weeks ago, we had that rumor that Toshihiro Nagoshi was going to leave Sega, go to NetEase. Well, it turns out he is leaving Sega. So the Ryuga Gotoku studio has announced a new hierarchy, new leadership.
Uh-oh.
So Nagoshi and director Daisuke Sato are leaving.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
can you just leave the family like that?
When the Yakuza series
in the Yakuza, they just let you out.
Yeah, apparently yes.
They'll pull him back in eventually.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah, 10 years the Yakuza series has been going on. It feels like it's been going on longer than that.
Has it only been 10 years?
That's what they say. Oh, I'm sorry. The studio
doesn't feel right.
Anniversary.
Yeah. I was gonna say
there we go.
I mean, that was the first game came out on PS2.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, there's
right.
what?
Okay.
7, 8, 9, 10 if you're counting the Judgment games, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Indeed, and all the side games that they've had.
Like what else? Because they did.
They did the zombie one, and they did the one that's in feudal Japan.
Yeah, I think Phil.
I forgot about the feudal Japan one. Yeah, I counted the zombie one.
Oh my god, the feudal Japan one. Did that come out here?
I don't think so.
No.
It didn't.
Yeah.
Probably will eventually.
Was there one or two for like PSP or something as well that may or may not have come out here?
I
Or
don't.
I don't know.
Or was
I
that
don't
a
remember.
sweet dream that I had?
Sweet dream.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's been more than 10 years.
So
Yes,
yeah,
there was at least one PSP game.
Oh, see, there you go. I know what's up
Hmm.
to a degree in a
I think
very limited field.
it was at least from that studio. I don't know if it was.
Okay.
Yeah, it takes place in Kamurocho. So,
Boom. Look at me. Look at me. I did it.
man,
Enjoy a drink of water
You know
to celebrate.
things.
there's a lot of Yakuza out there
Mhm.
in the video
Yeah.
game world.
That's
Indeed.
right.
And there will continue to be more because the studio is going to continue pumping games out
Mm-hmm.
without
Okay.
Nagoshi. I imagine whatever studio Nagoshi starts, they'll do
Something similar.
something similar. Yeah.
Right.
What has he done otherwise? What I didn't check. Like, what was his body of work before the Yakuza series? Does
I mean,
anyone
Monkey
know?
Ball
Right, Monkey Ball. Yeah,
and
Oh,
F-Zero
yeah.
GX, NAX. Like
those are pretty important.
Yeah.
Came from the arcade
Right.
business. So
Right.
yeah,
Very nice.
important stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's too bad that he's going, but I also I'm curious to see how the Yakuza series continues on because I really don't think it's. I don't know for sure, but I don't know that he's like the sole visionary of that series at this point.
Right.
You know, I
Right.
mean, they've got
Yeah.
that whole studio that's churning them out, and I'm
Right.
guessing studio culture and sort of the creative culture would be about the same. So
One would think.
yeah, one would hope.
Or
That's a
maybe
great
it'll turn
series.
out like when
Mhm.
Kojima left Konami and you had Metal Gear Survive as the next.
Yeah, but actually, you know what? That's a really good example though, because in that case, yeah, like Kojima's always been kind of like, this is a Hideo Kojima game. You know what I mean? Like this is
Right.
That's true.
he's the visionary behind all of this. He's the director. He makes all the decisions. And I don't know that that's what it's like in the Yakuza series.
Well, it certainly isn't marketed that way.
No.
Right.
So at least not in the US.
No.
Well, we did get also rumored. It finally got announced the Grand Theft Auto Trilogy remaster.
Oh,
Coming for
Yeah, that's good. That's pretty cool.
many platforms, including the Switch, includes GTA 3, Vice City, and San Andreas.
So the best ones.
So it's coming out on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. And then also mobile in 2022.
Just got to say, I really, really, really wish, or like maybe in the future, I don't know. God, I'd love to see them re-release Chinatown Wars.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Chinatown Wars is the secret best Grand Theft Auto game.
It's also a Gran Turismo game. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. It's a great game. I don't even like GTA, and I like Chinatown Wars. So,
Yeah, there's just something about that game that worked.
yeah.
But I mean,
And
that's really exciting.
yeah.
I'm really curious to see if the music, because I mean, you know, all three of those games actually had a lot of licensed music in them. But I mean, Vice City and San Andreas really sort of traded on the licensed music. You know what I mean? That they were a big selling point for both those games.
Yeah.
So I'm curious if the soundtracks remain intact. I hope they do. But I mean, even the first, because I think Grand Theft Auto 3 mostly had the licensed music they had. Wasn't it from like Scarface or something? Like, wasn't it basically the soundtrack of Scarface?
Was it?
I think that at least the
know.
songs that were in Scarface were in that game or something.
Oh.
Like, I seem to remember that, something like that.
Okay.
So, yeah. But anyway, I hope they. I mean, Rockstar's got more money than anything, so hopefully they'll spend the cash and license that stuff, or maybe the contracts they signed were good enough that it was like in perpetuity they can release that stuff. I don't know.
Somehow, I doubt they signed a contract that good back
me too.
20 years ago. I don't know about that.
Yeah, me too. But you never know.
You never know. That's true. So they haven't shown any screenshots or anything, and they haven't talked about stuff like licensed music yet. So, but these games are coming out in November.
Wow,
that's pretty soon.
Yeah, launching later this year is what they said. The rumor before was November. I assume that's correct.
Could be.
So, yeah, good.
That's pretty cool.
Stuff.
Hopefully, it's a good price, and I wouldn't mind having those games available on modern console.
Yeah,
It's been a long time since I played those games. I'd be
The
willing
only
to go
one
back
I'm
and play
kind of
them again.
interested in is Vice City, and it's because of the soundtrack.
Right? See? I
Yep.
mean, like if you go back and look at commercials and advertising for that game, I mean, the soundtrack was a big deal.
Absolutely. No, yeah. Completely. All right, and to wrap up the news, Nintendo and Sakurai, more notably Masahiro Sakurai, announced that Sora from Kingdom Hearts is the final Smash Brothers Ultimate character.
Yes.
I know you guys are
You can
huge
feel
Smash
our
Brothers
enthusiasm.
Ultimate
Yeah. Well, I'm really
fans.
deep in the Kingdom Hearts lore, so I'm really
Absolutely, yeah.
excited to see how this fits in with Sora's tale with Mickey and Donald and Goofy.
They're not in the game though.
And
No, they're not in this game. No.
The Heartless.
I'm sure the first time you fight as him, there's a 45-minute cutscene that will confuse you more than you were when you started the fight, and with lots of zippers.
And if you take a screenshot, the copyright Square Enix legal line.
God, you remember that? I remember us having to run that in the magazine when we ran shots of Kingdom Hearts, any Kingdom Hearts game.
Yeah.
I think it was you had to write a copyright for Square and Disney, I think.
Yes, you did.
On every screenshot.
You'd include a very long copyright line. It was kind of crazy.
Just in case you forgot who owns Mickey Mouse.
Right?
That's right.
Yeah.
So yeah, 74 characters in the base game, Smash Brothers Ultimate.
Jesus, is that what we're up to?
Yeah.
That's wild. Good for them.
They announced a couple more Mii fighters as well, including the Doom guy.
Yes, everyone was all excited about that.
Doom Slayer.
Doom guy.
Slayer. Doom guy.
Slayer. Yeah, Doom guy as we know him. But
yes.
Yeah.
So there you go. Good for
Very
Nintendo.
exciting.
Now Sakurai can maybe get some rest.
Take a rest.
Yeah, really.
Start working on that Kid Icarus sequel again.
he gets 2 weeks off before he has to start the next Smash Brothers.
The next Smash Brothers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Where could they even go from here?
Start renegotiating all the
They don't have to
contracts.
go
with the
anywhere.
existing
They
characters.
just bring as many of them as
And,
possible forward and start adding more stages,
I guess
more music.
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Improve the graphics even more. I don't know. Yeah. See how
Why
you
do
can
you
charge.
Do you think
Release
Smash
it on
Brothers is
Xbox.
ugly?
No, I
Oh,
don't.
there you go. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, port it.
Yeah.
This just in, CJ thinks Smash
Yeah.
Brothers is ugly.
Hold on a second.
Oh.
How does Smash
You
Brothers
see
run
that
on
big? You see that big
emulators for the
Xbox?
PC?
Oh
Jesus.
boy. Oh boy. There we go.
I was really irritated to see that.
Yeah. What we're talking about, of course,
Yeah.
is the Kotaku story that Metroid Dread seems to run perfectly on Switch emulators for your PC.
Good job. You did
It's
it.
and I mean, it's such a weird fine line to walk there.
Mhm.
Look, it's about
but I
game
mean-
preservation. This game
Yeah,
could be
game
lost to the
preservation is
ages.
something that came out 2 days ago. But that was the thing. It's
Emulation,
like it just feels like such a weird thing to call it, especially because it's absolutely feeding into that whole frenzy with the rumored 4K Switch dev kits.
Right.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
that's all
yeah.
it was about.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
if you read the article, I think they've actually since changed it, but they kind of justified what they were saying based on Nintendo hasn't been very good, and most companies aren't. They're saying in the article with not protecting their history, but making their history and their older games easy to play on modern consoles. But I really think that doesn't ring very true with the Metroid series.
No.
Yeah.
A huge, not all of them, but a huge chunk of the old Metroid games have been available across multiple consoles. They re-released them multiple times.
Yeah.
The Prime series got re-released last generation, and it's probably going to get re-released on the Switch. They probably need to do a Game Boy one.
It did come out digitally on Wii U.
Yeah.
So,
And I mean, the original Metroid's been re-released multiple times.
mhm.
Metroid 2 was remade. Super Metroid's been re-released multiple times. I think you can play both of those on Switch right now.
You can.
And then those, a lot of the other games aren't that old.
It's true.
So anyway, it was a weird article. But I only know about it because the internet went crazy about it. I don't read Kotaku anyway, but
well, there's a difference.
and every time I read
talking,
Kotaku, I'm reminded about why I don't read Kotaku.
There's a difference in talking about emulation when you're talking about games that are not commercially available in any form, and you're playing for preservation's sake or because you can't find them any other way, versus using emulation to play a game that came out 2 days ago.
It's funny now. Couch Gaming in our chat said that they also linked directly to where you could get it from. That's messed up. That is messed up.
What they link to a
to
ROM?
The game or the emulator?
I don't know. That's what he put in there. If that's true, that's messed up.
That would be crazy. Yeah.
It's me.
And then I wonder how long it'll be before we see the article. Nintendo blacklisted us, and we don't know why.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Let's get into what you've been playing. I'll kick it off. Let's talk about Metroid Dread because we all got it.
But did Metroid Dread come out?
Metroid Dread came out.
I got the.
You got the big
special edition here.
The big edition.
Woo!
The biggin.
Yeah.
Did you open it yet?
I mean, yeah, I've been playing it.
I'm just asking. I figured you would open it up on camera. That's all.
How do you feel about?
Why would I open it up on camera? Then I'd have to wait until tonight to play it. I mainly got it.
No. I mean, when you picked up the box, I figured you'd open it to show us what was in the box.
Oh,
not an unboxing, just a
No, I know.
A show and tell.
I got because I wanted the art book.
The art book,
yes, which is a very nice art book. So, yeah. Ooh, if you're watching on YouTube, there's a page. How exciting.
There's a copyright strike.
Yeah.
Nice.
I was delighted to see it was a hardcover book, though. I wasn't sure if it was.
That's nice.
But it is a nice hardcover art book.
Yes. So
yeah, there's a game included as well.
Yep, I've heard that.
Yeah. From Mercury Steam is the developer.
And they did the Samus Returns.
Yep, Samus Returns. Yes. And previous to that, they were doing Castlevania games.
Yes.
Lords of Shadow 2, and whatever that terrible 3DS Castlevania game was.
Yes. Oh, apparently, real quick, going back to that Kotaku thing, Couch Gaming is saying in the article they had a tweet that linked to the emulator, not a ROM.
Okay.
So that's
still not something Nintendo would be very happy about, I think. But whatever.
I would imagine I don't think so. Can't imagine. Yeah.
So yeah.
Anyway, so Metroid Dread came out to rave reviews, had many perfect scores.
Okay.
And so yeah, I was expecting a good Metroid game. Obviously, Mercury Steam had done Metroid 2 before, and I enjoyed it. I didn't finish that game. I never actually got to the end of that one.
I want to say I did. I think the biggest thing about that game is I have zero memory of playing that game. I know I played it. I don't remember hating it. I don't remember loving it. I just know I played it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, the thing I didn't love about that game was the parrying attacks from enemies, the little flash or whatever, and you could parry.
Oh, was that in that game? Okay.
That's in that game, yeah. And they brought it forward to this game as well. I still don't like it. I still am not a huge fan of that. I would much rather just deal with the enemies than do that sort of parry timing. And not only did that come forward, but of course the Emmys are a new mechanic in the game. These little robots that track you down in certain areas.
I don't know if
you
I would
can
call
parry
them
them as well. You can
good
fend
luck.
off their attack, but the timing is exceedingly difficult.
I did it
on purpose, obviously,
during the tutorial where they stop the game and say, hit the parry button now. Yeah.
I've been successful probably about 4 times.
I've about 4 as well.
Yeah. I've never done it outside the tutorial time.
But it's very hard. The first time I did it, I was like, oh shit, I'm playing again.
Yeah. Right. It's so rare that when it works, it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's good.
Yeah. It's good.
It's yeah. I have to say that I mean, you guys know this because we're all in the Slack channel together. I hated this game when I started it. Oh my god.
Well, what about it did you hate? Like,
the
where
Emmy
did this
stuff.
hate? The Emmy stuff,
Yeah, absolutely. I despise it, and I still
Which
do.
I don't love it
God, I hate it.
either.
Yeah.
My problem with it is that so you can defeat the Emmys in each area.
Yeah, you go find the magic,
the magic laser
doohickey that you have to find.
The Omega,
the one-time attack that you can use.
Yeah, and then you destroy them. But after that, it leaves a big part of the map that is just like a maze to get through. So when traversing the map just in general, I find it really hard to get from place to place. Like previous Metroid games, of course, have the circuitous map. But generally speaking, if you have to go from one side of the map to the other, you don't have to like bring up the map every time to make sure you're going down the right hallway. In this game, you have to make sure you're going in the exact right hallway because there are so many of them in these Emmy areas, especially that you might accidentally go the wrong way and diverge off in a different direction.
I find in this game as a Metroid game, and I'm not counting Other M here because I didn't play Other M for very long, so I don't know if it did any of this stuff as well. But as sort of the mainline Metroid games, I don't ever remember being so herded along like this game does to you. And that along with the Emmy areas, I don't feel like I'm free to explore. I know I am eventually, but when I get to an area, I'm not. I feel like the game's telling me like, no, I need you to go here next. And they do it because this is probably the most cinematic Metroid game as well. I mean, you'll go through a door. No, now you're not in control of the camera, and something's about to happen, and sweeping camera angles and all that stuff, and which looks great, but it feels so, for a game that's not linear, it feels so linear. And yeah, like Nemeva in the chat is saying that Fusion was far more linear than this. You're probably right. I haven't played Fusion in 20 years. Like, but I'm just for me, I'm feeling that. And I mean, it's properly named like Metroid Dread, but I don't think I feel dread in the way that they want the players to feel dread. When I see an Emmy door, I curse under my breath, and it's like, all right, here we go. Like
one of these.
Now, here comes a bunch of trial and error and a bunch of restarts, and I'm not enjoying it.
I'm torn on the Emmy stuff because the fact that the escape parry timing window there is so precise that I've never been able to do it. Is frustrating, and you do end up with that kind of big open area with nothing in it that you got to kind of just work your way through afterwards. But every now and again, like when I do kind of trick an Emmy and outflank it and distract it and am able to kind of get it to go out of the room so I can just explore, it's like, this feels kind of neat. Like I feel like I actually outsmarted the machine. So I'm torn on it,
When you get your
cloak, that I've ever felt like I outsmarted it. Like, then,
really?
I mean, I've run circles around it, sure, but I've never gotten it to like leave me alone.
Oh, see, I've been able to do that a couple times, just by running off somewhere and then using the cloak ability.
Yeah, the cloak ability has helped.
The cloak ability has never helped me in any real tangible way.
See, the thing is that the cloak, I find the cloak ability has only helped me when there's also like the magnetic walls. Like if I can hang from the ceiling,
right,
and use the cloak, that's when I can avoid one of those things,
right.
But even then, it's a crapshoot because you never know if it's going to crawl up the wall or if it's
exactly.
Gonna,
I thought that was going to be the case, and I did that, and I was pressing up to like push myself up against the ceiling, which you can do. And the Emmy jumped like directly on me.
Yeah, I had exactly that same thing happen tonight because it was getting down from a platform, and because of the animation, it was like the rear end of it swings around to go down the platform, and the tail of it just nicked me. And it's like, well, now you're dead. Oh, man. Yeah. But and I say all that, and when I first started playing it, I was extremely frustrated with it because on top of that, I was lost. I didn't know where to go next, and I had gone around the same section of the map over and over again. And what it was there was an area that I needed to slide under that I should have figured out. In my Metroid trained mind, I was looking for the morph ball because it looked like something the morph ball should have done.
Yeah,
but it's like, no, you just need to slide down this little shaft. It's like, oh, okay. But I'm actually now, just when I stopped playing tonight, for a while, I was in a similar situation where it's like, I do not know where to go next. And again, it's because I've gotten to the third area, and the way you get to the third area, if you go back, you can't go anywhere. If you go back to the previous area, you can't go anywhere. Everything's been locked off, and you can't change it. Yes. And that's the type of thing I'm talking about. It's like, I'm used to the Metroid worlds expanding. But this one is locking every door behind you, it feels like, for a while.
Yeah.
I got stuck in the exact same. I know exactly what you're talking about, too. You're in Dairon, right?
Yep.
Or that's the new area. And I tried everything. I was like, no, nothing is working. I don't have any new powers here. I can't do anything. So I had to post on Twitter, like, I am stuck here. What am I supposed to do?
And I know now that that's where that advice you gave me last night, where you were saying when you're stuck, just start shooting every wall.
Start shooting every wall.
And that's what got me through. Was like, okay, there's a floor I realized I hadn't shot at. And of course, that's what opened up.
Later in the game, and you're talking about like that area being sort of locked off to you. And later on in the game, I found that there's that again, where like accidentally I will fall down an area in the morph ball, and then I'll be like, okay, how do I get back up? Oh, I can't. I have to go all the way around map section.
Which, by the way, that map is terrible.
The map
has so many freaking icons on it, and it's just
you can't. The big problem is you can't filter it easily.
Yes,
and there's no like key to what you're looking at. You have to actually like highlight an icon and then press the Y button to highlight icons, and that'll allow you to highlight icons that are of the one that you just selected. But there's no way to like, okay, zoom out and show me all of this type of thing. Like you have to find that thing on the map first before you can do that. And it's just it's not great. Not very good for usability.
No, it really isn't. And the fact that, like what you said, I feel like, I don't know how to describe it. I don't know if it's because the areas are lacking sort of the proper markers to help you figure out where you are without checking the map. But I agree, like to navigate anywhere, I feel like I need to check the map constantly. And when you go to the map and you realize how, especially as you get further in, how cluttered it is and how hard to read it really is, it's like, okay, so you're sending me to a page that feels pretty useless, but I need to use it constantly. And yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of really rough edges on this game. All that being said, when I powered past that Emmy area that I was struggling with last night or a couple nights ago, like I played it for a couple hours before we started the show tonight. And I have to say, like, when I'm not doing that and when I'm not dealing with not knowing where to go, I love the way it plays.
Oh, absolutely. I completely agree.
Yeah, like I feel like the controls are a bit too complicated. I feel like I'm using way too much shoulder button action.
I keep mixing up
the slide and the aim.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Constantly.
Yeah.
Like, wait, here comes a bad guy. I'm going to stop and shoot him. Oh, no, I just slid right into him. Okay, that's cool.
Wait until you get some of the other beams that you also have to hold ZR for.
Well, yeah, that's just it. But I mean, that notwithstanding, I'm getting used to that. And I also, and Phil, you and I had talked about this a little bit in Slack too, where it's like I hate controlling 2D games with the analog stick. I just hate it. But you couldn't do this game any other way, the way it's set up.
You know what, though? It's like, yeah, I get they're having you control with the analog stick because they want you to be able to have the 360 aiming. But you know what? Does the game need 360 aiming? Do you want to make it more cardinal direction again? It does, the way it's designed.
Does need it.
I mean, but
But what you're saying is, should they have designed it differently?
Because they designed it that way.
Right.
Yeah.
But does it really need it? Was Super Metroid that much worse with the
but
just cardinal directions?
What I will say is that once you get used to that and you get used to fiddling with the shoulder buttons all the time, like when I was realizing tonight, like her movement is fantastic. When I was running around, even little things like smart decisions they made, like if there's a small lip that you need to get over, you don't need to jump over it. She will step up. Like just little things like that. And being able to slide while you're running, like she's fast, she's light on her feet. The wall jump is super easy to do.
Yeah.
You know, like all of her sort of passive abilities as you gain them feel good. So there is a whole lot to like there, and I know that especially where we just spent like 10 minutes crapping on this game. But it also makes the stuff that I don't like more difficult to deal with, because like I love it when I'm not in these areas.
You get past an Emmy area and you really start opening up the map, and you're like, this feels really good. Like the shooting's great, the traversal's great. I'm finding all these secret things, especially like after you get a new power up or whatever, and you're finding all these new things. That's great. And then you get stuck either in an Emmy area, or for me anyway, it was not knowing where to go next. Like after certain things, like you start looking at the map and you're like, okay, like where haven't I been? Are there any like big sections of map that I haven't uncovered? And is there a passageway that I can now go through there? So I'm like looking at all the different areas. And that just slows down the pace of the game. Like,
you know what would have really helped when I look at the map, and I mean, you know, maybe this is just me being an old man and they shouldn't have changed this, but seriously, when you think back to like say Super Metroid's map, or I actually think more to Symphony of the Night, and the way the map was set up there, where it's like you've either been in this room or you haven't. You know, it's not like in this one where they shade in the areas that you've run through in the big rooms, which is also, you know, but you've been in this room or you haven't. And it's like, okay, in the map, this room has it's a blue room with a white outline. If there's a gap in the outline, that's an exit. And it's like just having the map like that or something similar would be so much more usable because of exactly what you just said. Like you're in a situation where it's like, I don't know where to go. Check the map. Oh, well, there's like 2 rooms here that even if I get there and I realize those are doors I can't open yet. It's like, at least I know there's where the exits are, you know, like, so that's where I'm going to start my search and sort of move out from there. So yeah, the map just feels so useless.
Well, in this game too, they show both sides of the doors, and oftentimes there'll be areas where one side of the door is closed and there's no opening there, and the other side is open. So without like having that register in my brain, sometimes I will go to that part of the map. I will traverse that part only to realize, oh, hey, I can't get through. It does say there's a door here, but
it's just yet another icon on the map.
It's not available to me yet.
Yeah. So, but again, like when it's all firing, it plays really well.
It's good, and it looks beautiful
and
too.
I really like the boss fights too. So I've only done a couple of boss fights so far, and I've really enjoyed them.
I've only done the first one so far. I'm just at the second area.
Okay, the second boss fight I really liked a lot. It just felt like an old school, you know, not necessarily multi-stage boss, but the boss had 3 or 4 very specific sort of modes that it would switch to, and you learn pretty quickly what you should do in those modes. I died once, and when I went back and fought it again, I was like, okay, I know what I did wrong. It's not because it's unfair.
Are you talking about the boss with the big tail?
Yeah.
Either it does a swipe or it does it.
Well, it telegraphs what it's going to do beautifully.
Yeah. That's the first boss.
Well, I was thinking more of the little no. Oh, so that's the one you fought then?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So you haven't fought the big spherical thing that was firing the ring lasers at you, and it's how you beat the second
big eye.
Yeah, the big eye.
Oh, that was early on, right?
Yeah.
Was that
early? There are multiple of those. Those happen every time you get the Omega Blaster.
Okay, yeah, I did fight one of those, but yeah, I didn't really that didn't read as like a level boss to me. That just kind of felt like a mini boss, but
okay.
But yeah,
so you and I are kind of in the same place then.
Yeah, I did fight the big tail swipey thing.
I fought Kraid.
No, okay.
Spoilers.
Spoiler: Kraid
No,
is
I
in the game.
already saw the animated GIF of like the kind of sneaky. I guess there's like a secret attack you can do on Kraid
Oh, is there?
that I saw a GIF
Oh,
of. Spoilers? Do you want to know?
With
Spoilers,
the
I guess.
sorry. No, let's
Spoilers?
not talk about that.
No?
But
Okay, we won't talk about it.
with the boss that we were just talking about, though, even stuff like that, like when you slide underneath the boss, because every now and then after it
Right.
decloaks, it'll have turned around. And the first couple of times I did that, I didn't take advantage of the fact that you can, the little flash happens and you hit the X button or whatever it is on the Switch controller. So even when I did that and it goes into like that little cinematic, at first I wasn't realizing, oh wait, I can shoot right now.
Yep.
Yeah,
you do a bunch
had
of
that
damage to
problem
the
too.
boss.
Yeah, I had that problem too because it cuts that cinematic, and I'm just like, oh, I'm just
struggling with this boss.
I'm just watching a little cinematic play out because the game does. You're in the middle of running into a room, and it cuts to a cinematic, and then it cuts back to gameplay. So I figured this was just another non-interactive cinema bit, but it's like, oh no, I'm supposed to be powering.
You can do a lot of damage to the boss during that time.
Yeah.
So
here's something that I put forward on Twitter. But so against the Emmys, I've been dying a lot. I die a lot in this game against the Emmys. And when you die, it brings up that normal video game over screen. You can either continue or quit game. But like the battle against the Emmy doesn't really feel like a game over point to me. It's not like, oh, you've died, like your energy was completely drained. All it is an interstitial screen that reminds me that I suck at games and press A to continue, right? Like,
well, I mean,
I don't think it's really serving a game over purpose. It's not like I was fighting a boss and my health drained all the way.
That's my problem with the Emmys in general. I mean, if they're designed that they're instant death if they touch you, that's got to happen, right? The question is, did they need to be like that?
Yeah, but
I almost wish that it was something that it just drained.
Why doesn't it just throw me to the place, the next the checkpoint?
Honestly, the game over screen popping up is not my issue with it, though.
CJ doesn't want to be reminded that he is bad.
I just don't want to see that screen. Just bring me back to the checkpoint.
I just don't want to see the instant death.
Yeah,
that's the thing that bothers me about it. I would rather it was more along the lines of the the original Metroids, where sure, if it attaches to you, it starts to drain your health, and you can escape. But even if you do escape, you've taken a ton of damage. Like I would much rather that than this. This you get hit and you're done, and go in and try again. But again, I'm really torn about this game because I really love it when I'm not doing that part of it. But God, when I see one of those Emmy doors, I was like, oh,
the little checkerboard static door.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm always wondering, okay, what is the gimmick that I'm going to have to be able to pull off super quick when I get in this door? Which attack is it going to be? Which thing is it? Like I'm gearing up to have it be like the grapple beam a whole bunch. Because early on it was like, oh, you have to charge the power beam to open up the doors while the Emmy is right behind you. And it just keeps doing that. It keeps like presenting you with challenges that, okay, you just learned how to do this thing. Now you have to do it super quick. But I really do enjoy, like, I think this is a really good Metroid game. I think the map sucks. I think the Emmy areas, just leaving a large blank space that they fill in with cookie cutter enemies is not great. Like I wish there was some other way to do that or to traverse those areas, because otherwise it just seems like those are very much empty. The other thing about the map is they have this thing where the area will glow or it'll kind of pulse if there's a secret in that section of map.
Yeah, I was wondering what the hell was going on there.
My issue with that is I wish it wouldn't actually pulse until you have a power up that can take advantage of whatever that secret is. Because like, why tell me that there's a secret there if I need the speed boots to get it? Like, I don't want to know that yet. Like, let me know after I've acquired the item. So Otherwise, I just shoot at the wall for like 15 minutes.
I wonder if that's done though to mitigate the fact that again it feels like the game is pushing you forward so hard at the beginning. Like maybe so it's
but
kind of like you want to come back here eventually, which I know as a Metroid player you're kind of supposed to be in that mindset anyway. But again, where this is pushing you so hard to move forward.
The game does push you forward, but mostly it pushes you forward to go to whatever new area you've just uncovered. If you get to a purple room and you can go to a new area, you're supposed to go there.
Yeah.
Like there's no going back because of just the thing we were talking about where that one area from Dairon to Kataris,
something like
that. Basically just puts you in a loop until you push on.
Yeah, so frustrating as hell.
Yeah. Overall, good though. I'm having fun with it so far. The Kraid boss battle did take me quite a while. All of the bosses, though, much like that first one that we were talking about before, have a pattern that you can decipher pretty easily. And once you figure out whatever that thing is, you can exploit it big time.
Yeah.
Like after in the first boss, after that first phase, after I learned what the trick was in that first phase, I was able to get past that first phase very quickly on a restart. So
anyway, there we go.
Pretty good. Also, the Switch OLED came out.
Oh, it did.
The OLED Switch.
It is.
Did you buy it for the white Joy-Cons?
Bought it. No, but it's beautiful.
There it is. There it is. There's
spoilers. He's doing a cinematic right now.
Oh, good. CJ just shows the ending to everyone right now, unannounced.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I love the Switch OLED. I knew I was gonna like it.
We all knew you were gonna like it too.
I really do. Like the old Switch, looking at the screen, it just looks so jank now.
I've been playing Switch on an OLED screen for months now.
That's different though. It's different.
I mean,
but yeah, it just the screen being larger and more vibrant is great. I did turn off, so by default the Switch is shown in vivid mode. I turned it back to standard because I found the vivid color profile was just a little bit too saturated for me. A lot of like, I don't know, it was a little too extreme. And I'm not that extreme. I'm a little less extreme.
Oh yeah, we know.
It's not the 90s anymore.
Not the 90s.
No.
Yeah. But I really like it. So the screen is now glass instead of plastic and has a nice, shine to it. Plus, on the old Switch, you look at it, you can kind of see that the screen is underneath the plastic. There's like a space there. There's no longer any space there. And the back is metal. I did not realize
the bezel's smaller too, right?
Metal. What?
Isn't the bezel smaller as well?
The bezel is smaller, a lot smaller. Which is nice, and the back is metal, and the kickstand the improved kickstand is very, very nice.
Let's see. Show me that kickstand
because ours keeps breaking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's nice.
The whole length of the system.
The system, you can put it at any angle. It's great, actually.
Well, not any angle.
Any angle, yeah.
180 degrees.
Almost. No, but yeah, it's very nice.
Very good.
I like it. Like it a lot.
I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Yes, the build quality just feels better than that original Switch.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I played my Switch in handheld mode more often, I would invest in one, but
I play in handheld probably 70% of the time.
Wow. You've been tracking your stats on that, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
yeah, I never play in handheld mode.
Yeah, it's rare that I do.
Or I'm playing Mario Golf in handheld. Yeah.
Where are you at when you're playing these handheld games?
Couch.
Bathroom.
Couch. Yeah.
Not
the bathroom. I'm not one of those people.
You're not a
bathroom
player?
Gamer,
no. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway,
admit it to us. We don't care.
I don't have to admit anything. There's nothing to admit.
Okay.
Nothing to admit.
Sounds like what a person who has something to admit, would say.
Nope.
But
afraid not.
Okay.
Yeah. And the other thing that I played this week is Tetris Effect Connected, which
never heard of it.
maybe I may be a little biased on this because I work for Enhance, but I'm really enjoying the Switch port of this game. I think it just feels good on the Switch.
Now Tetris 99 is free.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Wow.
But does it have the synesthesia?
No, it absolutely does not. No. You know what? I can make that joke because friggin' Tetris Effect Connected is a really, really friggin' outstanding game. I absolutely adore.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm just very surprised by the port. It's very nicely done. Frame rate it's over 30 frames a second. I don't know that it's 60 all the time, but looks great, plays great. Yep. The connected multiplayer modes are awesome. I really like having Score Attack and Classic Score Attack in there portably. Like Classic Score Attack is nice to have on a portable system. So it's just a really, really good package.
It is. I was playing some of that too this week.
Nice.
On the old not on your fancy OLED Switch.
Not on the OLED.
I had to play it on just an OLED TV.
Yeah,
but
not LED.
Well, this was the screen was
big LED.
The big LED.
Big LED.
Yeah,
not the mini LED.
Well, what's terrible is I actually did play some Tetris 99 this weekend
because they had an event this weekend.
Because they had an event this weekend, so I had to get the stupid theme. It's a Monster Hunter theme. It's a game I don't even care about. I was like, I'm still gonna get the theme. Still gonna play it and get my 100 points. And the whole time I was playing that, trying to earn the theme, I was just like, oh man, I just wish I was playing Tetris Effect instead. I don't even like Monster Hunter. What am I doing? But I quickly got my new theme and then dove into Tetris Effect, and
nice,
man, that game. I've played that game so much on the PSVR. I played it so much on the Xbox, and now I'm playing it again on the Switch, and I just don't get sick of it because it is a good game, and it's so pretty, and it sounds so good. The soundtrack's so good. Jeez Louise.
You get to that end level of journey mode and the music kicks in with the vocals.
Yep.
Yeah, it's great.
It's a good game. A very good game.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
All
Best thing to come out on the Switch this week.
What's that?
The best thing to come out on Switch this week.
I agree with that statement.
Mm-hmm.
Agree with that. All right, Greg.
Yeah, well, Metroid Dread, obviously, been playing the last couple of days. There's a couple other game that I wanted to talk about last week, as Phil pointed out. I finished Kena, Bridge of Spirits last week. And yes, I did tweet at that point that it's definitely in the running for my game of the year. I adored everything about that game. As I mentioned before, and we talked about on the show before, that it's definitely lacking sort of that final bit of polish that you would see in a big budget AAA game. But once you kind of accept that, they did a wonderful job with the different areas you're in, the boss fights. CJ, yes, you were right. I was playing on story mode. I think that's why I like the boss fights so much. The different powers that you unlock, like I felt they did a great job of, in a pretty short game. I mean, feels very similar to like a Zelda, like a 3D Zelda, where you're, or even a Metroidvania, I guess, where you're unlocking different powers to sort of, open up the world. And they did a good job of really incorporating those powers as you unlocked them into the combat as well. Like, I found the balance was really great, where it's like, okay, I can do this thing now. And boy, is it really helping me out in the boss battles or even the regular fights, like being able to use like a rod arrow instead of just a regular arrow and that sort of thing. And, expanding the quiver so that you have a few more arrows to shoot. And when you unlock the bombs as well, it really changes sort of how things go. And it made, especially the boss fights, I found way more enjoyable. I I felt like I had this great arsenal of weapons to use that wasn't overwhelming, but really gave me options while I was fighting. And it made those boss battles very enjoyable. And you had the option to aim for the weak points that would show up, like every now and then you see like a yellow glowing spot on a boss, or maybe multiple ones. And if you can fire an arrow at one of those, you do some real damage. And or you can just sort of peck away at the health with different attacks as well. So overall, really great. The atmosphere was fantastic. The characters are really well done. It's a very melancholy, very sad story that I think they play well. The main character, I ended up really sort of feeling for her by the end of the game too, Kana, which was nice. But boy, the village and every character you meet in the game is such a tragic story. And I don't know what it was. I don't know why it didn't twig for me at first, and I don't know if you're supposed to, but even those first two kids that you meet in the game, it didn't register with me right away that they were spirits as well.
Wait, they're dead?
I didn't realize it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Really? Okay.
I mean, you see them like
totally
kind of like
get it. No, I must have missed it somehow.
Warp around and stuff.
No. Well, see, when they were warping around, it's like, okay, that's interesting, and I didn't know if they were supposed to be magical in some way or what.
Limitation of the system. They just don't want to animate.
Yeah, absolutely. But then the thing is of course that's what sort of all three. Well, at least the first two main characters, you're dealing with helper spirits that love the spirit that you're trying to help. Yeah. And so they have sort of these very emotional reunions before they are free to move on. Right. And then the final spirit that you're dealing with is a whole new level of like, oh my God. But overall, yeah, it's such a great game. I'm so happy that I picked it up and played it. So happy that Sony was really pushing it for the PlayStation 5 as well, and it's absolutely worth playing. And I know that some people, I have friends who haven't touched it yet because they don't want to go just digital, and I know there's actually a physical version coming out, I think.
Oh, is there?
Yeah. So nice. Highly recommended. Highly recommended.
Yeah. I go back and finish that myself.
You really should. I think you'll like it. And I mean, it's not that long.
Oh, yeah. 10 hours. Like I said, I've loved what I've played of it so far. It's just,
I actually really, I started going back and trying to unlock and find all the other bits and pieces that I hadn't, like all the extra rot and things like that. But then Metroid Dread came out, and I was like, well, I'm gonna move on,
right?
But because I want to make sure I play that this year. So the other game that I've been playing recently that was actually something that an Extra Life donor requested a while back, and I had played the first. Hi. Okay. Emergency nail clippers. Hang on.
Uh-oh.
There you go. Don't cut your fingers. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, that I played a while back because an Extra Life donor had requested it, and then I sort of jumped into it again recently. When I first played it, I didn't like it that much. But it's called a Gunman's Proof, which is a Japanese Super Famicom game.
Okay.
It's Old West Zelda, Link to the Past.
Oh,
like, really? To the point that you almost wonder, was Nintendo happy when they saw this come out? I mean, it really looks like Link to the Past.
Oh, really?
In a lot of ways. But it's very light, actually. It's not as massive. It's not sort of as epic as a Zelda game.
Oh, that does look like Zelda, doesn't it?
Oh, big time.
My goodness.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. But
wow,
I found myself playing it, and so it's sort of an Old West version. It's an Old West sci-fi game. Like, the whole thing is that you're in this Old West setting, but aliens crash land on the planet, and an alien possesses the character you play as. Okay. And then your job is to go take out these different bosses, this group of, I forget what they are, other aliens, I think, that you have to, that are taking over the planet, and all your weapons are guns. You don't really get too many other items. You can punch and you can shoot, and that's it. And it feels super basic and weird at first, but it's a lot of fun. It's really good. So I've actually played a bunch more of it over the weekend. I think it's only like 4 or 5 hours long, maybe 5 or 6 hours long. The fan translation that I'm playing is quite well done, which really helps. The comedy, I don't know that the jokes are translated perfectly, because there were some references and everything that I feel like probably weren't in the original Japanese game. But the fan translation I'm playing is really well done, and the comedy actually it works. It really works. It's not super challenging, but you'll die on a boss every now and then. But really, for the most part, once you get the hang of how the movement and the shooting works, it's not a cakewalk, but it's not super difficult either. So just wanted to call that out. I'm really happy that I kind of fell in love with it the second time I played it, and then again tried to decided I wanted to keep playing it, and I did an extra like bonus stream, this 3-hour stream this past weekend, and all the viewers on the Twitch stream were kind of the same way. It's like, the more you play this, the more I really like it. Just sort of like there were these little things that people were just falling in love with, and the music too. The music's fantastic. It's just this. It's great. It really, having never really played a ton of Earthbound, it feels like sort of that same level of absurdity.
Yeah.
Which I think anyone who likes Earthbound would probably resonate with you. But again, in sort of a Zelda play style with guns. I don't know. There's no other way to describe it. It's really interesting. I highly recommend. You know what? Emulation is a wonderful way to preserve digitally preserved games. I highly recommended pirating this.
Did you finish this game?
Not yet.
Okay. So
yeah. So I will say the enemy design is a little problematic. Don't get me wrong.
Boy, I'm seeing some really racist looking enemies.
Yeah.
Like
they're aliens. They're not.
Oh. Yeah. Oh, they're from Planet Blackface.
Look past it. Look past it.
Okay.
Just look past it.
Look past it.
Oh boy. Yeah, because oof. Okay.
This game's really good.
Hey, fan translators, maybe you guys can hack the graphics a little bit too while you're at it. Oh boy.
Oh, you're just one of those people who wants to censor Japanese video games, aren't you, Phil?
Yeah, I guess. I guess I must be.
I completely forgot about that now that you're talking about it. Yes.
Me and my not liking racism that much. I guess, yeah.
Not that much? So you're saying you like it a little bit.
Well, I mean, it depends on, I'm Irish, so, make all the potato jokes you want.
That's a weird way to...
I don't know.
It's a weird thing to say. Anyway, I still highly recommend the game.
Okay.
So... It's really funny. It's a lot of fun to play.
There's some questionable design choices.
Yeah.
As there were in a lot of games 20 or 30 years ago.
Well,
30 years ago.
I mean, you look at some of like that Tom Sawyer game that Square did on the Famicom back in the day. There were some. Yeah, there were some. But I'm glad you enjoyed the game otherwise.
It's really good.
Good. Yeah, it looks cute. Other than
you've completely taken the wind out of the sails of this conversation.
Hey, you know
what?
Want
you to know. But I think that where your camera froze there was pretty funny.
That was funny.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Anyway, that's it. Okay. Although I did want to say too, I wanted to call out 2 more things. I was on a couple of different podcasts recently, and I wanted to call them out. So, I had a conversation with A Gamer Looks at 40 podcast, which I don't know if either of you have listened to this or not. And by either of you, I mean CJ, because Phil, I don't think listens to a lot of podcasts, but I know CJ listens to a lot of them.
I haven't actually.
Pardon me?
I have not.
I recommend it. It's so basically what they're doing in this podcast is they sort of pick a topic, and then they talk to multiple people about this topic. And like the conversation that I had with Bill, I think it was sort of along a range of topics, and he's used bits and pieces of that conversation so far in the latest one, which was all about the bit wars of the 90s with 16-bit systems.
Right.
But he's done previous ones on sort of the state of video game collecting, and he's talked to a bunch of different retro game collectors in that episode. I really like them. The episodes are really fun to listen to. It's kind of interesting to hear multiple voices, not necessarily all talking to each other, but being interviewed for a topic. So recommend that. And then I was also a couple days ago in a podcast called Insert Coin, which is Phil's camera's just getting worse and worse. There we go. Yes, it's went all confetti there for a second. Insert Coin, which is by Eric Bezanson, who does Game Positive, who I know you've promoted before on Second Player, CJ.
Yep.
And so Insert Coin, again, a cool format. He takes whoever his guest is, and he looks at their gaming life by quarter. So he takes their age, divides it by 4, and then and with old people like us, that's over 10 years a quarter. So it's almost a 3-hour show, but it's about gaming from the late 70s all the way up to now. And sort of some different stories of my sort of gaming life and just sort of talking about the game industry in general in those different decades, really, for me. I thought it was pretty good. Anyway, cool. Insert Coin, it's called. I know that's hard to look up, but if you go to Google and look like Insert Coin Game Positive, you'll probably find it. It's on YouTube, and of course, CJ will put some links in there. But just wanted to recommend both those podcasts, not only because I was on them, but because they're both really good podcasts, and you should listen to them.
Good.
Excellent. All right. Well, Phil.
Yes.
What do you got for us this week?
Well, I was playing the old Metroid Dread. I played the Tetris, as we were talking about. Played a little more of Hot Wheels Unleashed, which I am still really enjoying. Still a very fun game. I still haven't gotten any of the fun cars, though.
I know.
Still haven't gotten my damn
the whole reason
Snoopy
anyone
car.
bought them in the first place.
Just want the DeLorean, damn it.
I just want my freaking Snoopy car so I can tool around as Snoopy, but nope. Yeah. I keep getting doubles. It's like, you guys got, we complained about this last week. You got like 60 cars.
Yep.
Somehow I keep getting all the, there's 60 plus cars, but in reality, there's actually just a pool of 12 of them that you keep pulling out of, and that's all you get. So, yeah. But again, still have a lot of fun with that game. I did find I was going through the liveries because I unlocked the there's a car that is like it's a Stegosaurus, and I did find someone repainted that car to look like the Dinobot Snarl from Transformers.
Oh, nice.
So I was delighted to see that, even though I tried actually using that car and I just did not like how it handled. So I can't bring myself to actually use the car, but I'm glad at least mine looks like a Dinobot at this point. And then I was continuing to play before Metroid came out. I was still playing through Aria of Sorrow, the Castlevania Advance Collection. And boy, oh boy, going from Aria of Sorrow, which is just impeccably designed and fantastic controls and everything like that, to the finger tangle mushy analog controls. Just Metroid's fine. I like Metroid, but I'm also playing Aria of Sorrow.
Yeah.
But but you know what the real important thing? You know what else I've been doing this week? It's less what I've been playing and more what I've been building. What have I been building right here? If you're on the YouTube, there it is, the old Mario 64 question mark block. You remember all those question mark blocks in Mario 64.
Uh-huh.
But
it's not completed yet.
It's not completed yet. You can see
in progress.
See right through it. Yeah, I got two sides done.
Yeah.
The top is still waiting to go, the two sides here. But it's going to open up and do stuff, because look at it. It's got this little door on here that It's got rubber bands on there that kind of make it snap back closed. And then this, look at this. This side has a little secret panel that opens up.
Yep.
Oh, and I just broke it.
It breaks.
I just broke a piece. Hold on. There we go.
Also, I love that Phil's camera occasionally just freezes.
I know.
So is it
don't
freezing?
really actually have to show us anything because
I'm showing. And then this opens up and there's a little panel inside that you press and it opens up a little hidden door.
These are spoilers for the people who wanted to
and there's a little crank that does something.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. The engineering involved in this set is just wonderful. So.
Phil, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
I saw a new Lego set announced, a Titanic.
The
Lego
Titanic set. Yes.
Oh my God!
I'm wondering, Phil,
yes,
you're gonna buy the Titanic set?
I am absolutely not buying the Titanic set.
It's gonna be like $500 or something, isn't it?
No, I think it's like 600 something. But I believe
I'm proud of you.
It might be the biggest Lego set ever made.
No, the second biggest.
Is it second? Okay.
Yeah.
Is it second
biggest?
to
The Millennium Falcon still?
with the Falcon?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I just heard that it was the second biggest.
I didn't buy the Millennium Falcon set.
And if you didn't
buy
that, you're definitely not buying Titanic.
I wanted to.
Oh God!
Luckily, my buddy Bill, friend of the show, Bill Mudrun, luckily he bought it, and I got to go build it with him. So I got all the fun of putting it together without having to worry about storing it anywhere.
So you started GoFundMe. Started GoFundMe for Lego Titanic.
Yes,
for the Titanic.
But no, I'm not that big of a Titanic nerd.
But Phil, you could put all your Marvel characters on the deck of the Titanic. Wouldn't that be fun?
It's not to scale, so no.
Okay.
Like, here's giant Iron Man.
Has to be to scale for it to make any sense
at all. Okay. Well, yeah, of course, that'd be ridiculous otherwise. Now, CJ, aren't you kind of a Titanic nerd?
No.
Are you not? Are you not a Titanic nerd?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I'm a giant nerd, but not a Titanic.
I know that. I get it. I get it. I get it. Look at this. Look at this. There's a little Bowser. Yeah. He goes with that set. How cute is that? How cute is that? CJ's really pissy about me and Lego all of a sudden.
I'm not.
CJ's very angry.
I'm gonna admit, Phil, that when you posted your haul that day,
boy,
my friends and I had a look at that and said, "Wow, that's a lot of money."
Yeah. Yeah, well, thanks, Uncle Pikachu. But but yeah, no, it was an expensive day because I got the Lego set, I got Metroid, I got the Amiibo, and then some Transformers came out as well.
I see.
Okay. In my defense, I ordered those Transformers months ago. They just happened to show up on that day, so that hardly even counts as me spending the money. I pre-ordered those was probably like 4 months ago. I ordered those, so
yeah,
they're just sending me free toys is the way I'd look at it.
Mm-hmm.
So
yep.
I mean, Greg, come on, you wouldn't. Come on, look at that little guy. Look at that little Sharkticon. Come on.
How many of those do you have?
I only have 3.
Why do you have 3? Actually, I'm serious. I because that was one of the big questions around CJ's best friend Mike's D&D table last night. Is why does he have 3 of those?
Okay, Greg, you like Transformers. You tell me why I have 3 Sharkticons.
Because the Sharkticons were always a big group of characters and not just one Sharkticon.
Yeah. Why would a person who collects Star Wars figures buy like multiple stormtroopers?
You know what? The reason, it really makes me happy that's the reason, because that's exactly what I said was the reason last night.
Of course it is.
Because I know you well enough to know that was
because there's a zillion, and I had a few people on Twitter were like,
and then I was asked, well, then why wouldn't he buy more than 3? And I was like, well, that's stupid. That would be really expensive.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm not going to say if I happen to stumble onto a couple of these at a store, if I'm like at Target picking up some stuff and look, they have like 2 Sharkticons. Maybe one of them falls into my cart. Maybe 2 of them fall into my cart. I don't know. I can't control what happens. Things fall all over the place in Target stores. when you're going through the toy department. My gosh. So
there you go. There you go.
But yeah, troop building. That's what they call it. You know,
who calls it that?
Toy nerds.
Okay.
Oh, I see.
Toy nerds call it that.
All right. Well, I guess we're done with what you've been playing. So that
yeah,
means
sure.
it's time for tweets.
Ooh, hold on here. Oh, twiddly diddly dee. Oh, twiddly diddly dee. Tweet, tweet, tweet. Tweet, tweet, twiddly dee.
All right, let's do this one. It's an email from listener Chris who says, "Hey guys,
that's just you.
No,
that's
the
just you. That's Chris, what the C stands for. Oh,
Chris.
Okay.
Hey guys, as Metroid Dread has been getting more and more coverage, all of the previews from all the different media outlets feel like they read the same. They have the same beats and even seem to repeat the same phrases. Was this as common back in your magazine days since you didn't have the ability to see what others were writing prior to going to print?"
Well, I mean, I don't know that it was. Is it that common now? I don't know. I will say that back then, and I don't know if this is still a thing. There was such a thing as a preview guide that would be sent out, where they would say
this is
especially
what you can talk about, and this is what you can't.
Right, and especially if it was something that an early enough build that you couldn't see it otherwise. You know what I mean? Like you couldn't get to that part, or taking into account the idea that like it might take you 60 hours to see this thing. You know, like, so here's a thing to know is happening. So I mean, that could lead to everyone choosing to at least mention the same things.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's the way it is now.
Well, it seems like this preview event that everybody went to and based their stuff off of was like an hour. They spent an hour and a half with the game or something like that.
Oh, okay.
And to me, there's only so many things you can glean off of an hour and a half with the game.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, like, I'm not even counting what's embargoed, what you can't talk about, like an hour and a half of Metroid Dread.
The embargo is another thing.
Yeah.
If you're not, if there's certain things you're not allowed to talk about, that limits what you are allowed to talk about.
Yeah. It's not a review. It's a preview.
You're all at the same event. You're all seeing the same footage.
Yeah.
You're all hearing the same sales pitch from the PR people. So everyone's kind of getting the same input. So
yeah,
that's true.
Going to be pretty similar too,
and it's just a preview. It's not a review.
Right.
So I think in a review of Metroid Dread, you can get into some of the things that we talked about, like the map and the Emmy areas and all that. In a preview, I think you if you're being paid to preview the game, you're not being paid to review it. Like you can't really do a review based off of what is specifically supposed to be a preview. That's part of the deal, right?
Yeah.
Back when we were doing this, there were definitely fewer preview events that were like this. They were really just starting to take off when we left the magazine space, right?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There were still press junkets.
There were, and there were situations where, like we talked about, I think 2 episodes ago, where Nintendo would come around with the GameCube and the launch games, and you had X number of hours to play,
right,
as far as you could. But that stuff was at least reviews, not just previews.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, I don't think it has as much to do about people reading each other's copy.
No.
I think it just has to do with the experience being, especially with a preview event like that, the experience that everyone had was the same. So of course the writing is going to be similar for the most part.
That's right. All right, let's do this one from hacker alias Trey B 1997, who says, "Do you think Metroid Dread should have an easy difficulty? I know that's something they do in Metroid games, but I feel a lot of people will miss out due to the insane difficulty of the game. At my age, I don't have time or patience to play through it."
I am normally a big proponent of that, and I think that yes, it should have something to make it a little more accessible, but at the same time, considering that clearly the vision around especially the Emmy sections are that they kill you. I don't know how an easy difficulty mode. I don't know how they make it easier. without changing the mechanic.
Yeah, I mean, you can make the Emmys less aggressive. You could slow them down. You can make them
do that. Yeah,
just take off a chunk of energy. Remove some of your health as opposed to an instant kill. There are ways you could do it. Lower their range of sight, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
that's fair.
The interesting thing about Metroid Dread is I think it's a game where they expect you to master the controls. Like a lot of the difficulty is mastering the controls.
Can you remap the controls in that game?
Yeah, you can.
No.
Yeah.
Wait,
Where do you do that?
You can. Yeah. There are several control types anyway.
Oh, okay.
I don't know about completely remapping everything, but yeah. You can.
I wondered about that because I didn't think you could. I was the same as you, Phil. I didn't see a place to do it, but then I saw someone else mention on Twitter tonight that if you change the controls to this, I'm like, wait, what? You can change the controls?
Oh,
so.
Well, you can't remap everything, but you can select from several control types.
I see.
So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is that all we got? Okay. Let's do this one from Hacker Alias Lopside Go, who says, "How have the ravages of time affected your gaming tastes? I still buy every JRPG I come across, promising myself I'll get to them eventually. But these days, the only way I ever finish anything is if it's portable and I can play in 5-minute chunks."
It's not quite that bad. But I'm definitely the same. I mean, and actually that was something that I was talking about on Insert Coin was I used to play all the Japanese RPGs I could get my hands on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've really seriously played one for 15 years now. And it took a while for me to get past the point you seem to be at, which is I'd still buy them, but I wouldn't play them.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's changed a lot. It's changed sort of that way with me too. And I don't know if the person asking the question has any kids, but that definitely affects your time, your available time as well.
Yeah.
The thing I'm learning though is that as they get older, you get some of your time back. But
that's right.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely. We've talked about this on the show a lot too. Is like I feel like right now, if a game doesn't respect my time to the point that I feel like I'm making progress every time I play, then I generally put it down.
Yeah.
Didn't used to be that way.
Yeah. My purchasing habits, I don't think have changed that dramatically. But I just don't finish as many games as I actually used to play through the games that I bought, and nowadays it really feels rare for me to complete a game. I have to either get really, really into it or just kind of dedicate myself to doing it just like so we can talk about it on the show or something like that. To actually play through these things that I'm buying. So yeah, that's about it for me.
I do a lot less of the buy games and never play them.
Me too.
Than I used to. I used to do that a lot.
Yeah.
Back when we used to go to like Best Buy on Tuesdays, I used to pick up DVDs and then buy games.
Now, when you say never played, do you mean just like straight up, just it goes on my shelf and I never touch it again?
There are some that I bought and never played or played very little of, like Super Mario Sunshine. I think we were talking about this before. Like I bought Super Mario Sunshine. I popped it in. I played an hour, maybe 2, and then put it on the shelf, and that's where it stayed. Right. I don't do that as much anymore. At least I hope I don't. But I will do things like I'll load something up from Game Pass, play it a little bit, and then delete it. Like that is definitely happened.
Yeah, well, that's different.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean I'm the same way. I mean, like every now and then I might pop in a PlayStation. I have PlayStation 2 games I've never played. Now, a lot of those are games that I've got, I got because of a lot of them are games I got because we were in the press, but a lot of them are games that what CJ just said, because, on Tuesdays, because that's when new DVDs came out too.
Yep.
You go down at lunch hour to Best Buy, buy some games, buy some DVDs. To be fair, I played most of them, and I watched all of those DVDs. I don't feel like I wasted that money for the most part, but I've definitely gotten to the point where, when we first started the show was when I had gotten out of the games press, but I was still in that mode of, I was so used to playing everything that I wasn't receiving everything anymore, that I started buying everything.
Yeah.
And then just, 360 and PS3. My 360 and PS3 libraries are way too big for what I actually played. So I don't do that anymore.
Yeah, my 360 library is the same. It's really big, and I barely played a lot of those games.
Jeez.
Yeah. Don't do that so much anymore. But anyway, I think that's a good place to stop.
No.
For the week. So we'll get on to the outro.
It's a flawless segue.
Very
smooth.
Like that segue?
Very smooth, yeah.
Exceedingly smooth. That's what they call me. CJ Smooth.
CJ Smooth.
Alrighty, and that is our show
There
for this week.
goes.
Thank you very much for listening. If you have a question for us or you'd like to make a comment about something you heard, you can direct that to @P1 Podcast on the Twitters, or you can go to our internet website at player1podcast.com. There you'll find our contact information. You will find Generation 16 episodes as they happen.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm even working on a new Sega CD blog entry for you.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. Amazing. But yes, go check out that sort of Sodan episode of Generation 16. You find that in the show notes, which are also on our website, and also have links to all the things that we talked about during this episode, and a link to our Discord server where you can discuss this episode with us and our other listeners.
Look at this here. Look, CJ, I got Lego Bane right there. He could hang out. He could hang out on the deck of the Titanic. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
I'm king of the world. Yeah, like on the
I like that. Yeah.
Like on that movie. That the Titanic movie.
I'm not
the one about the Titanic. Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's the boat movie. If you'd like to subscribe to the Player One Podcast, you can do so by visiting player1podcast.com or by loading up your favorite podcast listening app. We're also on Stitcher Radio, and we're on Spotify. You can like us on Facebook. You can watch video archives of our show on the youtubes.com/P1 Podcast, or you can watch us live most weeks on look at it. There we go. We're all dramatically presenting our show to you. You can watch us live most weeks on the YouTubes, on the Twitters, the Facebooks, the Twitch.televisions, all those wonderful services.
Greg, you're muted.
Greg's the best part.
Just thought I'd tell you about that.
Does Greg have something to say?
Well, you said something.
It's not time for cheap yet.
It's on the recording.
The hand motion.
Okay.
He said he keeps freezing like that. So.
Yes.
Oh, do I? I don't know what's going on with my computer or my camera here if I keep freezing. Whatever the case is, follow.
Don't know what to do with my hands.
Just sit on them. Sit on them. It's the safest thing.
From 30 Rock?
No, it's from Talladega Nights.
Oh, okay. There's a 30 Rock
when he was being interviewed after his first win, the camera was in like this, but his hands kept floating up onto the shot, and then the guy who was interviewing would reach in and pull his hands back down, but then start floating. It was a great gag. Anyway,
that's funny.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
Did you first watch that on?
That's part of that movie.
UMD?
First watched it on my
Oh no! What was it?
That was the movie that came with the PS3.
Yeah, Spider-Man. Spider-Man 2 was the UMD movie, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
My first Blu-ray. A lot of people's first Blu-ray.
Yes,
same.
Oh my goodness. Follow our Twitter account, which is @P1 Podcast, to find out when we are doing our next live show. Typically, it is Sunday nights. It is 5:30 specific time. So join us then, won't you? If you like what you've heard, and how could you? Head over to patreon.com/P1 Podcast. Throw a few shekels our way. I got Sharkticons to buy, baby. Lots of them. So we need all the money you can throw our way. I don't. You know what? I've asked and CJ won't let me use any of the money for Sharkticon. So don't worry. Your Patreon dollars do go just to help support our show here. Keeps us streaming and all that stuff.
True.
And you know what? If you are a Patreon supporter of the $5 tier,
cheap.
There it is. You get access to a special bonus episode every week. We record it right after this, playing games, cracking wise, having fun, doing all the stuff we can't do on the regular show. CJ, do we have a game for this week?
We don't, so we're going to play Geek Out video games again.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Video game trivia. It'll be is it all of us? Is it all of us, or is it just Greg and my? It's all of us.
No, it's
all three of us.
Yeah.
Okay. And Greg's scared.
Greg
ran off. He's afraid.
All right.
But that's okay. We'll do it. So we're going to play some video game trivia. Join us for that. And if you want a sample of what our after shows are like, CJ every Thursday night puts up one of our old ones on the on our regular podcast stream, so you can listen to those.
Sure.
And then join us for the new ones if you'd like. And if you have a couple bucks left over, you can head over to patreon.com/generation16 to help support Greg Stewart's outstanding. And it is outstanding. See, he's back for this part. It is outstanding web series about North America's favorite runner-up, the Sega Genesis.
Thank you, Phil. And if you are the Patreon supporter of the $5 per episode variety,
also cheap,
you get access to a weekly video vlog series called the Weekly Commute, where I sit very safely in a room that is not in any sort of motion, and talk to you about the current status of the episode I'm working on, what I've been playing, other videos I'm working on, what I really think of my my castmates on the Player One podcast. This week was interesting.
What?
Love. You love them.
Nothing but love.
Yes. It's worth the show.
There you go. CJ.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Phil.
I think Gregory. Oh, now he's back again.
Yo.
Thank you, Greg. Thank you,
Philip.
Thank you, I'm saying. And of course, thank you to our wonderful, wonderful listeners. Every single one of you. Please take care of yourself, to your family, your loved ones, your friends. Wear masks, get the shots if you can, and we hope to see you next week. Goodbye, my dear friends. Goodbye.
Greg's not here to say goodbye.
I said goodbye on the recording.
There he is.
My son's